Hi there, welcome to This Week in Gender, where in 10 minutes or less, we talk about gender. Hopefully 10 minutes.
Hopefully.
We're trying.
Maybe
We're
a little less.
Yeah, not 10 minutes and 36 seconds.
No, exactly.
Something 10 minutes or less.
A little shy of that. Yeah.
My name is Carlos. I'm the manager of online programming and community development at Gender Spectrum.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
My name is Lisa Kenny. I'm the executive director at Gender Spectrum.
Okay.
We work together.
We do work together. She's my boss. So, you ready for This Week in Gender?
I am totally ready for
Okay.
it. Super excited about hearing about your topic.
Yeah. I think it's a pretty awesome topic. CoverGirl just announced that they have a cover boy.
How great is that?
Yeah, 58 years CoverGirl has been around. And James Charles, 17-year-old Gen Zer, is essentially the new face of CoverGirl. And I think it makes, So obviously there's a lot of gender implications, there's a lot of equity implications.
Yeah.
But I think also strategically as a business, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, Gen Z is definitely an emerging market to be marketing to be advertising to. What was the statistic from J. Walter Thompson?
56% of the Gen Zers, so 13 to 20-year-olds, I think is how that was defined in that study. But know somebody that has gender-neutral pronouns, which is an amazing thing.
Which is crazy. And J. Walter Thompson specifically works within advertising, right?
Exactly. Huge global advertising company. And they were doing the analysis because they're trying to figure out, of course, advising clients on trends and other things that they need to consider. And this is a great example of that.
Yeah, this is exactly why organizations like that exist. But 58 years, and I follow James on Instagram. Amazing makeup artist, phenomenal. Has a great voice, too. I mean, there's nothing that this young person can't do. And I'm thinking, like, if only I had a drop of the talent that you have.
You have a lot of talent, Carlos. Don't sell yourself short.
I'd be going somewhere.
And not doing this thing in our closet.
Not stuck in this closet filming This Week in Gender. No, I actually love it. I do love it. It's fun. So Gen Z, if you're not familiar, I think a lot of people, like my generation, the millennial generation, is kind of the focal point now that we're entering into the workforce. Student loan debt is kind of something that everyone's talking about. People born after 1998 are Gen Zers, and there's a lot of Gen Zers. So it makes sense that companies are wanting to kind of figure out, I'm in no way am I a strategist in terms of advertising or anything like that, but I think as a layperson, it makes sense that you would want to tap into this market.
Well, it's just a great reminder that, obviously girls or young women are the target market for CoverGirl.
Right.
They're not there are many girls and women who don't wear makeup.
Yeah.
And what about Alicia Keys these days? Okay, that's a whole other topic. I love her. Okay, side note, I'll leave that for another day. But I think of her because she's really been sort of coming out against wearing makeup and what that means. But on the other side of that is that there have been, for a long time, there have been a lot of guys that utilize makeup in one way or another.
Right.
And so, again, it's one of those ways in which we gender a product or a service to be about one thing when in fact it's really can be you're losing market share. CoverGirl was astute enough to realize, hey, wait a minute, instead of acting as if this isn't here, let's actually bring in James, who it sounds like is a super talented person, and bring him in as part of this and to help acknowledge that in fact they want a much broader audience. And it's just it's great marketing. You're trying
it's genius.
Trying to generate revenue, right? Plus they got all this great free publicity about it. So way to go, CoverGirl.
Everyone's talking about it.
Also a good move.
Yeah. Okay, that's
my topic. And from a brand perspective, from a brand, it also says, where are we going? We're out in front, not sort of lagging behind. And so, anyway, I think that's super exciting.
Yeah, that's me.
Also, mine is also a bit actually on the advertising front.
Really?
Which is kind of, usually we have sort of different kinds of topics. Mine is on, you might have seen something about this, about 1 million moms came out against H&M ad. It's a campaign, I think, actually called She's a Lady. It's actually a really nice ad campaign.
I think I know this one. Yeah.
And it shows like different all different kinds of women and just sort of like getting ready and different, just kind of in their lives and doing these things. And it's I think a lot of people really like the ad campaign and they came out against it. And they really came out against it because they said, here's this trans person and they're making this about including this person in there, and made a big deal. And we need to really stand against H&M and boycott H&M and tell them that we're really unhappy. And
Little did
they know, the person they've identified as trans is in fact not trans at all. It's just, she's just a woman. I'm not sure what her gender identity is, but basically said, I'm a woman. But ironically, which is the part that I love, I think maybe even most of all, is that there is a trans person in the ad who they didn't even identify, of course, as trans, because what does it mean to identify somebody as a trans person? And what I love about this example, and there are many things, although I also find it really disturbing, but you have them trying to boycott something because they've projected their value and their experience out in the world, in a world, in fact, that they don't understand.
Yeah.
And instead of trying to understand it, they sat in judgment of it, declared it as improper, and none of that was real. Like, none of that was real. But then ironically, because they have a picture in their mind, and this person didn't fit that, then somehow the person who actually does openly acknowledge being a trans person is missed because they don't present in some way that this uninformed this idea has of this. And so it really just says there's so many things at play there.
Yeah.
It really is a lack of understanding about gender identity, about gender expression, about our bodies and how bodies are gendered. There's so many other aspects of intersectionality there because there are a lot of different dynamics about who they were identifying as being transgender and what did that mean. But then there's just this beautiful irony of actually somebody being there. But that person actually is invisible because, in fact, they don't present in some way that was sort of a stereotypical way. So anyway, I just think it's a really interesting example of what's problematic when we don't stop to actually really try to understand what's going on around gender and try to understand it. And when we begin to think that our outdated and narrow lens of gender gets projected out, and what happens when you do that publicly in this way that's just like, oh yeah, look at us, this is what we think. Do your homework and figure this out. So yeah, it's a really interesting thing that, it's just...
You'd think with 1 million moms...
or 2 or 3 even.
All 3 of the million moms that someone would have guessed.
By the way, just in case you're wondering, this has nothing to do with Million Mom March, which I actually thought, the Million Mom March was kind of interesting. They'd done something. No, this isn't. If you go to their website, actually, they acknowledge it. It's a different thing. If I was, however, instead of executive director of Gender Spectrum, executive director of the Million Mom March, I'd have some things to say about that.
Oh, I'm sure.
So,
absolutely.
But anyway, I think it's a really interesting thing and a reminder for everybody to, be careful about the lenses that we're putting out in the world and make sure we question those and ask people, to find out more when you see, find out more about the diversity of gender. It's actually just truly, I find it to be the most infinitely interesting and exciting thing that's going on. And it's just an amazing opportunity to talk to people.
Yeah, it is.
If we just stop and listen instead of, barreling forward with our ideas. So anyway, 2 things about advertising this week, kind of anyway.
Yeah, that's interesting how they both kind of came up like that. Yeah. It's fascinating.
All right.
Okay.
I think we're under 10 minutes, so we should probably stop.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
We'll see you next week.
Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, Carlos here. To keep the conversation going, make sure you join the Gender Spectrum Lounge at genderspectrum.org/lounge. We hope to see you there.